Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with reference recordings. And today we are talking about Strauss's Salome. Yes, sei verflucht, Salome, as Johanan says to her. Oh, what a great opera. It's so much fun. It's so decadent. It's so filthy. It's so dirty. It just makes you want to take a shower afterwards and you enjoy every bit of the filth. Yes, admit it, you depraved people. Just terrific stuff. And the reference recording, I mean, it's Birgit Nilsson and Solti. Absolutely, with Gerhard Stolze and Grace Hoffman and Eberhard Wächter and Waldemar Kment with the Vienna Phil. The only thing it's missing is two big tam-tam whacks at the very end. I mean, Solti should have just let him whack the crap out of it, but that's okay. Everything else is marvelous. And of course, it's not about tam-tams, much as we might wish otherwise. It's about singing. And Birgit Nilsson's, Strauss heroines, I mean, this was her thing, her meat and potatoes. Now, again, a reference recording need not necessarily be your favorite. I actually like Caballé and Leinsdorf in Salome, and I also like Hildegard Behrens and Karajan very much in Salome. Probably a little bit better than this, but that doesn't matter, because what matters is what the reference is, and this was the reference. Wow, this was the reference, because the singing is just astounding. Absolutely astounding. And the recording is hyper vivid and detailed. It was one of those John Culshaw things where I talk about tam-tams. I remember reading the liner note at the very initially when this thing first came out on LP. I mean, I was like 2 when it came out on LP, 1962. But when I bought it, and he talks about recording Salome and the big orchestra and how he highlights the tambourine at the beginning. The tambourine. That Naraboth is singing, the moon is like a little girl with slippers. One might imagine that she dances. And then, Strauss goes tap, 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 doing dancey things. You hear that with incomparable vividness. You really do. But then you've got Birgit Nilsson, who has the absolute best album cover ever. This was the one where, I have to let me take out the booklet here. Look at that. If that isn't, if I get the light off of it, there we go. If that isn't camp, high camp maybe, but camp, serious camp. You have to remember something about Salome. Salome is supposed to be a nubile young Judean princess who is so sexy that Herod will give her his entire kingdom if she would only do the dance of the 7 veils and rip her clothes off in front of him. Now, with that in mind, take a look at this. This is Dance of the 7 Veils material. No, of course not. This is just, it's supposed to be emphasizing the depravity of the whole thing. It's I just can't get over it. I talked about this cover before in my, worst ever album cover series of videos, which you may want to go watch. But, and Birgit Nilsson was nothing if not funny. She had a terrific sense of humor. She had a very good sense of humor about herself. She always said that her mother told her to keep her feet firmly on the ground because that way you won't get injured when you fall. She was a down to earth kind of person, and you had to be to do that. You really did. That they even thought of that, and that she did it that way was just totally awesome. Awesomely fabulous. It really is. So, album cover aside, this really is a glorious performance of the opera, which has had, as I just sort of suggested, quite a few very, very fine performances historically. It's like Salome is like a giant tone poem. It really is. It just flows from beginning to end. And, the trouble with Strauss operas generally is that Strauss and his symphonic poems is that he had no sense of timing, really not zero. And the opera always starts when the action ends. There's all this action and business that's going on, and it's all gloriously accompanied and all that. So then all of a sudden everything's over and it stops. And then people come forward and sing and sing and sing. like the end of Frau Schatten, the end of Rosenkavalier. I mean, you just take your pick of Strauss operas. And there's always something at the end where it goes on 15 minutes longer than it's supposed to, just like Ein Heldenleben too. So the key in Salome is all about Salome. I mean, she's got the last 15 minutes or so where she's sitting there with this decapitated head singing about how much she wants to kiss it. and you got to have one hell of a Salome to keep your attention throughout that whole thing. I mean, it should be anyway, very, very disturbing. I mean, I remember that, if you want to see disturbing, watch the video with Catherine Malfitano. I mean, where she does the I mean, that is disturbing. And so is this. And it's disturbing vocally. It's disturbing vocally because Birgit Nilsson has, first of all, perfect pitch. So you hear every note sort of twinges on your nerves. It just pings the way it's supposed to. And when she finally does, allein was tut, ich habe deinen Mund geküsst, Johann. Don't I do a great Birgit Nilsson? Actually, we kind of look the same, don't we? Here we go. See, I can do it too. No, but seriously, she's stunning. It's totally thrilling, and the recording is gorgeous. There's like an organ in the background. This luminous, unbelievably rich backdrop that it's like a wall of sound. It's magnificent. And so, yeah, I mean, this is the reference. I mean, in 1962, it was a demonstration disc sonically, for sure. And because of Nilsson, it's going to be the one that everyone talks about. Everyone makes the comparisons. So there are other types of Salomes. There are Salomes whose voices are not laser weapons. There are Salomes who are more girlish and who are a little bit more sexy or kinky, but this really lays it all out there for everybody. And that's why it is the reference recording. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.